Hi guys, this is going to be a quick video, an updates video of what gear that I carry and use, or kind of a what's in my camera bag video. Okay, it's been a while since I put anything on this channel. I will be finishing the series eventually on the 60D, so don't worry about that, but I wanted to come back with a quick update on what I carry in my main camera bag. Apologies for the image and audio quality. I'm filming with the only HD camera that I have, and a Rode stereo mic, and it doesn't really work great with the Kodak Zi10. I think the auto gain control just plays havoc with it. So, my main camera bag here is a Think Tank Airport Antidote version 2. It doesn't have wheels, it's a rucksack. And it's getting quite heavy with all this stuff in, to be honest with you. I would like to change to a wheeled one, but in my current situation I can't afford to, so it's going to have to wait. This is my main bag. I do have a second smaller bag, which is the Think Tank City Walker 10 as well, which I usually carry around with my Fuji X100 in, and a flash, memory cards, business cards, and it's usually what I carry around when I'm going shooting street. But I'll also transfer one main DSLR into there. It fits in with a grip as well, and one or two lenses and maybe a light if I want to travel light, doing some location work when I don't want to take this whole kit. So we'll run through what's in this bag first. Now, first we'll just have a quick look at the front pocket. So if I just close this up here. This bag does come with a separate laptop pouch that you can pull out and carry around. I don't have it here with me at the moment, so I won't bother showing that. I've written on my bag my phone number, name and website address with a marker pen. Plus it's got business cards, all my stuff's labelled as well, just in case things get left on location or go missing in events and workshops. In this front pocket here, I mean, you can keep keys and pens and whatnot. It's got a tether for linking it to a table if you're worried about security, but I've just got sync cables for flashes, which rarely get used, to be honest with you, or camera connection cables for my triggers, which can also be used to trigger the camera as well. Close that. There's a front pouch on the bag which has business cards in. It's kind of like a front pouch you would see on a suitcase with your name and address or contact details on. So I've got that in there. In here as well, where are we? I have a rocket blower. Always keep one of these handy for cleaning lenses and the body. Never clean your sensor with these. People say you should do, but it's absolute rubbish. Not for cleaning sensors. I have one light in this front pouch as well, a Yungnuo YN562. I'm doing a review on it. I know there are other reviews out there. I'm going to put a blog post on a video on about it as well. I've done metering tests, which a lot of people don't do, so they're not real reviews, and I'll speak about that when I do that video. So that's my fourth light at the moment. Stick that over there. I have some miscellaneous paperwork, model release forms, which I need to file as well, and a 5-in-1 reflector. I tend to always keep one of these handy because they're handy for using as a scrim for a diffuser, or for obviously as a reflector. As well, you can also lay it out on the floor to kneel on and lie on if you're in a bit of a dirty location. So that's that there. I'll take that out, and that's pretty much everything in that pouch. So we'll open up the main pockets now. Okay, now you can see, actually should have enough field of view, you can see the front pouches here as you open up the bag. In that pocket I've got pen, pencils, spare battery for my light meter, a lens pen, a 5-in-1 audio jack, a spare tripod plate because I'm always leaving the tripod plate at home whenever I do take the tripod, which is rarely. Some spare change as well, and it's also got a multi-tool with a knife, pliers and so forth as well. It's a Leatherman, it's a decent quality one. It's worth having one of those handy for in case you need to cut rope, string, wires, help take things apart when you're rigging grip and stands and so forth. By the way, I will do a separate video on all my lighting modifiers and grip and stand equipment as well. It's just I'm not going to be able to fit it all in this video, obviously. And the bottom pouch holds a business card pack, spare lens caps, lens cloth, and a think tank pocket rocket, whatever the hell they call it, for holding memory cards. These all have business cards in as well, so if they get misplaced, hopefully someone will ring me or email me so I can then go and collect them. But it is obviously attached to the bag so it doesn't get left behind. And in here we have SD cards for the 60D and this camera that's filming at the moment, and compact flash cards as well for my main camera, the 5D2. So they're there. What I tend to do when I put these in, and notice that I've written my name and contact number on the rear of the CF cards as well, is whenever a card is been used, I always offload my images straight away, but when a card's in use I tend to cycle through them so they kind of get kept on the card if I can, depends on how much I'm shooting. So I usually upturn it so I know that it's got stuff on there that I don't want to format. Anything that's been cycled through, formatted, ready to go new, front of the cards showing like so. I've got some 4 gig cards, 8 gig cards, a couple of 16, so I've got plenty. There we go. Throw that back in there. Awkward. Right, in you go. Okay, to the main bag. Right, now this is configured how I use it. I mean, there's numerous different ways you can configure it. Same with any bag really. And we'll start with down here, my wireless triggers and what I use for when I'm using studio strobes, if I'm using the local studio. I don't own a studio yet, one day I hope to, but I use a studio which is local to me. And I'll sometimes use the triggers that I've got here with the cables that you saw earlier on. I have Phottix Strato 2 triggers. These are Canon, but the beauty of these is whilst they're TTL pass-through, so if I have this transmitter on the camera and stick a TTL capable Canon flash on there, it will work as if it was on the camera. These will also work on Nikon, on Fuji. I think they'll work on Sony. I need to find that out, which is handy for running events and workshops, so at least I can just run with my triggers if needs be, so I don't have to have multiple brands. The only reason why they say for Canon is because of the TTL pass-through. Obviously if it's on a Nikon camera, the TTL is not going to work. These take AAA batteries, AAA batteries, and I use Sanyo Eneloops in there as well. So I have 2 transmitters. So one is a backup, always have a backup, and I like these as well because they have groups, so I can set multiple lights up with groups and turn them on and off, so I can have running background lights, rim light, and I can decide to shoot some frames with just the key light. I can turn the others off and run. Now these don't have power control. I can't control the power of any of my lights remotely, but to be fair, I'm not too fussed about that. They're all labeled, and because I do events for local studios and I'm looking to do workshops as well, I've got one coming up in November. Details will be forthcoming for that. I keep stuff labelled, so if someone accidentally picks some stuff up, then I can obviously get it back, because this stuff costs money. I have here 4 receivers, because I've got 4 lights. Okay, there we go, 4 channels on each, and you can select the groups. These can also be used to trigger cameras as well, with sync cables and so forth. There, they've all got Sanyo batteries in, and I've also got in here Sanyo Eneloops charged, ready to go for the triggers spare, should I need them. These little holders, what are they called? The StoraCell holders. They're really handy. I found these on Amazon, or was it eBay? I can't remember. But they're really handy. If the batteries are upturned, positive terminal visible, they're ready to go, charged. If they're flat, I put them in reverse, so you see the base, the minus terminal or negative terminal, so I know that they need charging. And I've got the batteries numbered in terms of the pairs and groups. So if one goes bad, say if one in number 10 went bad, then I'd probably ditch both of the number 10 batteries and just replace them, so I know that they're good. That was in there. Okay, we'll go on to the lights. I generally run with Canon Speedlights. I have 3 Canon 430 EX2s. This video may take a while, by the way, so heads up. Canon 430 EX2 Speedlights, again they're labelled. A great light, around 180 to 200 pounds new at the moment. You can probably pick them up 150 pounds new-ish. Or you can go for the earlier one, the 430 EX. Good light, 3rd stop control on the power changes as well, which I really like. and been very consistent, very reliable, and you get a good amount of power. They're probably about a third to two-thirds of a stop less powerful than the 580 EX. But obviously that costs quite a fair bit more, even used. And the 600 RX, I don't even, or 600 EXRT, I don't even want to think about. It's stupid money. So I keep them in the pouches because I keep the feet in there as well. So let me put that back in. So that's 3 of those lights in there. So, 3. I prefer using the Canon Speedlights, mainly because they're more consistent and more reliable than the white end things. I'll speak to those things more in the review when I do it. Now I have in here as well a Think Tank DSLR battery holder, which holds 2 LPE6 batteries, which will work both in the 60D and the 5D too. Okay, it's nice that they have the same batteries. So they're 2 charged ready to go. I've got 2 in each camera as well, so I don't find I need to have more batteries ready, although I'm looking to do some more video work, so I may well add some more as and when I can do. I'll keep that there. I also have the StoraCell holders for the AA batteries for the Speedlights. Again, the same, they're numbered. I use the same system. Put them in backwards when they're flat, so I know when they need charging. Okay, they're there. We're out of room. Okay, what's in here now? And that's a spare battery for the light meter as well. I've got 2 in the bag. I don't envision the light meter going flat anytime soon, but you never know. I also keep in my bags as well silicone gel packs, just to make sure there's no moisture build-up. So there's a few of those dotted around. The light meter that I use, I've been shooting without light meters for years, but I've finally got one for the reason of, it's not because you must have a light meter and you're not a professional if you don't, because that's rubbish. It's because they will help you in certain situations. If you need to get even exposure from head to toe, say if you're shooting a fashion line or a wedding gown, then you really need to meter it to make sure it's dialed in correctly. Otherwise you could have a 2/3 of a stop change at the feet compared to the head. Plus sometimes it does look more professional to run with a meter, and sometimes you can run around a set taking meter readings, not really giving a crap what this thing says, and it gives you more time just to think about what you're going to do as well. So keep it in the pouch. Bought this thing used. It's a Sekonic L358 Flashmaster, no longer made by the way. They've got rid of it for some reason, but it's a great one. People don't value the meters these days, so on a used market ever so often you'll find a great deal. So I saved £80 on the cost of this, so grabbed it, you know, and it's a great meter. Again, it's labelled up. I don't have the Pocket Wizard transmitter in the base of it because obviously I don't use Pocket Wizards, so it would be pointless adding that in. I've got no intention of changing my triggers anyway, but it's a good, reliable light meter. I'll do a separate video on some more of this kit later on as well, but it's a good meter. Let me just put that away. Okay, right, we'll go on to the main camera body first, which is, I still have the old normal Canon straps on as well. I've thought about getting a Black Rapid, but it's 50 quid, so no rush. Main camera is the Canon 5D Mark II. I bought this used for £1,000 with about 7,000, yeah, somewhere like that, actuations on. So it was like new really, and it's been great, no problems with it at all. I've wanted one of these things for about 4 years, and I finally got one used when they're no longer made. You'll figure, bought cash money. Okay, on it at the moment is probably one of my favourite lenses, the Canon 35 F2. It's an old lens, 19-year-old design. It's still an autofocus lens, but it's not a USM, it's noisy. But it's a great lens. I like the 35mm field of view, so that usually lives on the 5D in the bag, or the 50mm will, because they're the only lenses that it will fit in that slot with on. It's got a genuine Canon 5D battery group as well, the BGE6, 2 batteries in there. Like I say, great workhorse, great camera, love the thing. The autofocus is a bit iffy, kind of sucks really, but I ain't going to go buy a 5D3 because of that. So I'm going to put this back in the bag because I'm running out of room. So that's my main camera there, 5D2. When I can do, I would like to add a second 5D2 to the kit, so I have two identical format bodies for stills work, and the 60D, which is currently my backup, which should be seeing some use shortly for video work, is here. Okay, it's a great camera, APS-C, not full frame. I prefer full frame now in terms of the format. I won't get into that too much, but it's still a great stills body, great for a backup, and it's also obviously it's great for video work because of the screen as well. Canon battery grip on there with two batteries in. I don't tend to carry the spare battery caddies where you can put double A's in because it's just more crap you need to worry about, and they'll probably break in here anyway. So that's the backup body at the moment, the 60D, and we'll stick this back in here. Okay, every so often I like to shoot with the 60D just to keep it working, to keep the shutter mechanism going. I tend to shoot the 5D the most these days. I do have a Fuji X100 which I'll sometimes throw in here. I'll take something out and throw it in if I want to take that with me. I also have a film camera, an EOS 300. I think it isn't a Holga, but they're not part of the main kit. Okay, next lens is the Canon 50 F1.8 Mk2. Again, that's all labelled up, and notice I've got labels on the bottom, so if I have someone assisting me on a shoot, they can quickly grab a lens for me and know which one they're picking up based off looking at these labels on the bottom as well. This is providing the correct rear caps go back on the lenses. It's a great lens, sharp enough, even wide open, great from f2 say up to f11. I tested it, there's a review video on my channel which I'll put an annotation link to, testing it against the 50 f1.4, and I determined it's just not worth going spending more money on the 1.4 for me, so I'm living with the 1.8. Okay, next lens, and this is a great lens. I love this lens. I'm a big fan of shooting wide angle, but I really like this lens for portrait work. It's the Canon EF 85 1.8 USM. So it's not the L. I've shot with the L, the 1.2, the version 1 of it. Yeah, it's nice. Well, I don't need to go spending that money. This focus is quicker. It's just as sharp at any given aperture, you know, pretty much. So I'm more than happy with it. It's a great little lens for portrait work, for headshots. This is the focal length I go to for headshots, 85 generally, certainly on the 5D. I can get away with shooting headshots on the 50mm if I'm on crop sensor on the 60D, but I'll still generally go for the 85 1.8. One thing I wish about Canon lenses, they got rid of that crappy clasp system for the lens hoods. Anyway, there's a lens cloth buried in there. It's, although I have on occasions used a t-shirt. Anyway, the most recent lens, bought used, but off a good friend of mine, is the Canon 24-105 F4 L lens. Now, the reason why I got this, I'm not really a fan of zoom lenses. For those people who know me, I prefer primes, but when I'm in a studio shooting a family, especially with the kids, and they're moving around a fair bit, then I can't crawl on the floor fast enough when I'm shooting a prime lens, so a zoom lens is really flexible for that. So it's a good carry around lens. It gives me 24mm, because my widest was my 35 f2, so it gives me a 24mm without having to go to a 24mm prime lens. So it's kind of double duty on that, plus it has image stabilization, so it's going to come in handy for video work as well. So it's kind of a multi-tasking workhorse of a lens, although I don't shoot the stills a lot with it unless I need the flexibility of a zoom. I tend to stick with the primes, but like I say, it's handy to have in the kit. So there it is. Okay, I'll generally buy a lot of stuff used when I can do. My lights are new, triggers were new, light meter was used, the 5D was used. Okay, the grip was bought new, although I got it from somewhere, which saved me a little bit of money on that. And the 60D was used, was new when I got it. Now, okay, in the rest of the bag here, and you're going to see a few of the modifiers that I use. I've got gel packs. Now these you might recognise the little packs for holding memory cards that Think Tank do. But what I've done, and I actually picked this up from Joe McNally's blog, is remove the stitching from the middle so you can fit gels in, and I've got them labelled there. These are the effects gels, so colour gels, deep reds, blues, pinks, greens, plus greens, and so forth. The plus greens can be used for correction gels for dealing with fluorescent light, and I've got some old gels that I used to use as well. They don't get a whole load of use, but when I want to put a splash of colour on something or just experiment with colour on the flashes, then I generally keep those in the bag. They don't take up too much room. This gel pack here has the correction gels, or most of the correction gels in, so the colour temperature orange gels, the Roscoe Sun gel, colour temperature blue, and full colour temperature blue, the half and quarter. I suppose, put the plus greens in here as well. I'll do that in a bit. So that's the correction gels. And the correction gels are used when you want to convert flash, which is daylight balanced, around 5,500 Kelvin-ish, to tungsten, fluorescent, or some other light sources. Here are a couple of Optica grids. These are 1/8 degree grids, or 1/8 size grids. Great little grids. I've put gaff tape on to keep them together. They were starting to come apart a little bit, and that may be where the build quality differs from the Honnold ones, but the Honnold ones are a rip-off at £25 a piece, plus having to pay for the strap, whereas you pay £12 on Amazon and you get the whole thing plus the strap. So this just gives a nice little restricted area of light. I can use these as two rim lights if I want to on a Speedlight, or on two Speedlights and the grate. Okay, I also have here, because I love grids, the 1/4 grid here as well. It's a less tight of a pattern, so I generally use this as a key light if I'm going to light someone with hard light with a grid. This is the one that I go for generally. So I'll keep these in the bag because I use these quite often, so they stay in the main kit rather than with all the modifier stuff. So grids are awesome. Okay, now here we have a torch. Okay, which is handy. Yellow tape is just so I can see it in the bag in dark places, and obviously it lets me work and see where things are in the bag when it's dark. Okay, in fact, let me get that out of the way. This is a Jessup's Canon TTL cord, and this is if I'm shooting an event and I want to get the camera, I want to get the flash off the camera, then I will use this and I'll handhold the light as I'm shooting, because on-camera flash is never really great. It can be okay when you're bouncing, but I ain't about to stick a Gary Fong piece of crap on my lights. I'd rather take the flash off camera and run with a small softbox or just direct light, hard light, like so. So it just gives me another option. So that just stays in the bag. Okay. I have a spare umbrella bracket. Now I've moved away from this one. I've gone to the swivel brackets from Manfrotto or Calumet, they're the same thing, because I've got a bad thumb, so these sometimes give me a bit of a problem undoing them. But this one stays in the bag just in case I get to a location with a stand and I've left the bracket somewhere, or I need an extra bracket if I've gone to a studio event or something. So this generally just stays in the bag, and it's got a cold shoe, lockable cold shoe there to hold the trigger or a light. So that's quite handy. I have a Vari ND filter, okay, from Lightcraft Workshop, and this will fit my 50mm and my 35. It won't fit the 85 or the 24-105. I'm probably going to have to get one for the 24-105 for video, but anyway. But it's just a variable ND, so as you close it down and open it up, it cuts or lets in a varying amount of light. Handy for video work, but also handy if you want to back off your aperture for shallow depth of field when doing flash work as well. Because remember, you're limited by your sync speed. Here is a rubber band. And this is for fitting it's kind of like a stove and dome, really, but it's a little bit different. It's more efficient, it lets more light through. So I can stick this on the flash, wrap the band around it. I can even colour the flash head prior to putting this on as well. And it allows me to use my Speedlights as a bare bulb-ish I mean, it's not going to compare to a Sunpack 120J or anything, but or a bare bulb studio strobe, but it kind of gets close. And it's just another kind of a modifier. Sometimes you might put this on if you're using your Speedlight in certain light modifiers. Anyway, this is what I used to use in place of this, which was like, it looks like a small shower cap, and it just eats light. It must kill 2 stops, and 2 stops is quite a lot. Then you put it into a modifier which kills another 2 stops. You know, you're really struggling on flash power. So at the moment it's just a bag holding a few little bits, and at the moment it's got a reversing ring in. I don't shoot a lot of close-up macro work, but the reversing ring's there, should I need to. Now also in this bag I keep dotted around some business cards as well, okay, with details, so if someone finds the bag, God forbid if I leave it somewhere, they can hopefully return it to me instead of selling all the stuff on eBay or nicking it. Anyway, so that's pretty much it really. That's everything that I use or carry in my main camera bag. I will have a look at the modifiers and grip and some items in more detail in further videos. I'm sorry this has gone on a bit long, but it just takes that long to go through it. Future videos that I do which don't involve me having to show these cameras will probably be shot on these cameras, so the video quality will be better, plus the audio quality will be as well. So forgive me for this once. But any questions, stick them in the comments below. Feel free to share on the likes of Facebook and Twitter. Follow me on there as well if you want. I am back on Facebook now, by the way. I deleted the account a while ago. And this is pretty much it. It's a good kit. I realise I've got a good selection of lenses and bodies here. I'm set for kit. I would like a second 5D2, but it's not a priority. I mean, at the moment it's going to have to wait anyway. And you can do a lot of work with the kit that I've got. I'm aware of that. There are people out there with less and start thinking, oh, should I buy something else? And you can probably still do a lot of stuff with the kit that you've got. One simple light, good lens and a camera body, you know, and you can make a lot work. Eventually you'll add more, and this is where you end up with something which you don't like carrying on your back because it's so damn heavy. Anyway, my next lens for this kit, I'm not going to add another zoom lens. A 70 to 200 I'm not interested in. I'm probably going to get the 135 f2 eventually, because that lens I really want to get my hands on. I would like a 24mm prime lens, but I'd probably go to the telephoto lens first, so I've got more options for compressing perspective that way if I want to, because at the moment my longest focal length is obviously 105. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video, which should well be the next in the series for the 60D. Sorry for the wait on that, I've just had a few things get in the way of doing those. I'll catch you guys soon.